postgraduate in Personal Management and Industrial Relations from Tata Institute of Social Sciences. In her diverse roles, Ms. Aparna has successfully been a learning partner, mentor, and coach to leaders, leadership teams, and organizations to build competencies, learning abilities, and nimbleness for achieving purposeful performance. Ms. Aparna made a foray into the corporate world through NOZL and moved into different roles in the HR function in the organizations like Monsanto, Novartis, UCB, Deutsche Bank. She was a country HR head for the French MNC Lafarge in India. Besides, Ms. Aparna is a visiting faculty in HR and OB subjects to management students in the leading B schools. She has also been conferred with HR Super Achiever Award by Star News at the 20th World HRD Congress 2012 and 30 Women Super Achievers Award by the World HRD Congress 2013 and Institute of Public Enterprise, Hyderabad. Beyond her corporate roles as an HR leader, Ms. Aparna also dons the hat of HR contributor through her associations with Indian Society of Training and Development, All India Management Association, National Institute of Personnel Management, National HRE Network, and Sumedhas, where she actively participates in disseminating her acquired knowledge and build the HR fraternity by creating future leaders. A hearty welcome, ma'am. I request Professor Anju to carry on to the rest of the proceedings.
In a quest for learning and contribution to the HR fraternity, Ms. Aparna Sharma has also authored a book titled Reality Bites: The Role of HR in Today's World. I consider it a privilege to welcome Ms. Aparna Sharma on behalf of the entire assemblage for the launch of a book. Let me take this opportunity to invite Ms. Aparna Sharma to hand over a copy of the book to Professor Abdul Karim Musliar. I request Professor Abdul Karim Musliar to release the book by handing over the copy to Dr. A. Vishwanathan. Thank you very much, sir.
I'm indeed happy to release the book written by Ma'am Aparna Sharma, Reality Bites: The Role of HR in Today's World. You know, the books are available just outside the gate, and she believes that you're going to buy it. She's a celebrated HR manager, and this book is the 8th edition of her book, I think.
The role of HR today, and take us through her views on HR, center or circumference. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the big round of applause, and I request you for another huge round of applause and this one is actually for you because I think you're a wonderful audience, lovable audience. As organized as we can be, as organized as we can be, sometimes, the organization also fails us, right? So, I know I have a difficult task. There are 2 sessions in any conference seminars which are very difficult. The one before lunch and the one after lunch. Right? Do you agree with me? Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to make it very simple for you. What I'm going to do is I was asked to give an author's perspective. So you have to bear with me probably for 5-10 minutes to tell you a little bit about the book. And then I'll straight jump into leadership in VUCA times. Okay? All right? So to give you a perspective on the book, okay, I know a lot of you have seen it outside. It's a lot of sweat, hard work, burning the midnight oil, really. Okay, I'll talk about 3 things, okay. Firstly, why did I write the book? What's the objective? The second one is the gap between theory and reality, okay. You need to pinch yourself and wake up to be in the real world, all right. And the third thing is going to be fusion. Do you like fusion food, fusion music? Yes? Yes, okay, wonderful. So I'm going to fuse the book with leadership in VUCA times, okay? All right, so, you know, I think what went into my mind when I decided to write the book, these 2 quotes actually stick out really to me, and I thought I should share this with you. And trust me, I'm going to do something different after this. So you have to see, you have to witness what I do, because I don't like to stand on the dais too much. I'll tell you why, okay? But all ears with me right now. So Louisa May Alcott said, I want to do something splendid, something heroic or wonderful that won't be forgotten after I'm dead. I think I shall write books, okay? So the thought of creating my bucket list started, and one thing on the bucket list was to write a book, okay? And in the field and the subject that I know best. Another one, Ernest Hemingway said, we are all apprentices in a craft where no one ever becomes a master. So once again, this is a very humble attempt. The above 2 quotes are actually a reflection of my mind, my maiden attempt as an author. Having been an active HR traveler for more than 19 years now, I thought it would be a great help, and it is the right time to put together something based on my learnings and experiences for the benefit of younger managers, the future leaders who have chosen the path of management or human resources in particular, or will choose to travel in a similar path. So this book actually is for each one of you, okay? So second thing, so this is actually the 8th launch in the book. We've had Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, Calcutta, 2nd edition. This book is the 1st edition, all right? What you see outside is the 2nd edition. I have the last copy of the 1st edition. So the 1st edition does not have testimonials from people who've read the book. Okay, so it's a fast-moving, I would say, book. 3,500 copies sold in 6 months, Amazon, Flipkart, etc., and physically as well. And thank you so much, thank you so much. So I also think that 3 colleges in Maharashtra actually have changed the syllabus according to the book. So it is that contemporary, covers everything. And I must say, sir was asking me, it must be a thick book. You see, it's only 200 pages. So I think, I thought of you, all of you, when I began to write the book, which is, I could never handle thick books. I could never handle anything over 200 pages. I've read a lot of books, but after 200 pages, I couldn't absorb anything. So if that was my state, you know, I could understand what would happen with today's generation, right? So my heart and my mind was all connected with you. So 200 pages, I would say 19 years of experience and contemporary HR practices to be put in 200 pages, brevity is really a virtue. Brevity is a virtue, and it's hard to come by, I can tell you. The mandate or the outline was, by the publisher, was 10 chapters, contemporary 200 pages. This is the size of the book. All right? Bring all your creative juices to work. All right? And think of the students. So this one actually is really for you. So Reality Bites, the role of HR in today's world, has something for everyone. Whether you are an HR student, a budding HR manager, a line manager who needs to manage people, a teacher, an academician, or an entrepreneur trying to understand what HR is all about. So this book is for you. The book covers the what and the how in HR. Actually, it leaves the how to you, the what and the why in HR. I do not believe in prescriptions, neither with respect to leadership, nor in the book. So you've got to figure out my how is different from your how, all right? The last thing on the book, before we come to the fusion, is you have professors here, right? So I wanted to read out this testimonial, which is not on the book, from one of my professors at TISS, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, and he is Dr. Santrup Mishra, who's the CEO, Carbon Black Director Group HR, Aditya Birla Group. He wrote to me some time ago when he read the book. He says, "Congratulations on your book. Thank you and appreciate your contribution to the HR fraternity. You actually did it before I could. This book will help newcomers in the field of HR to understand the nuances in HR and its components very easily. The illustrations and case studies, it's actually caselets, not case studies, are short and quite powerful. Overall, the book is a very good guide for management of human resources and enhancing effective talent management. I wish you, my dear, and the book all success. Warm regards, Santrup." All right, so I think this is for me, earning recognition from the guru who actually taught me human resources in college. All right, he was also one of those guys who interviewed me. So this is all to all the professors and to all the students. I'm sure I will be able to inspire you to become authors in future, right? So this was the first part. And be one, because I'm just one among you. Just got some years of experience under my belt. That's about it. And I thought it's important to look at leadership in turbulent times upside down. All right? And I know I have a difficult task of keeping you away from thinking about the sumptuous spread outside. Right? So I only ask for two things: being physically present as well as being mentally present. Is that a deal? Yes. No, that's not loud enough. Yes? Yes? Okay, all right. And the third one is you have to keep up the energy levels. I thought it was a bit dipped in the beginning, and just as the crescendo grows, it has to actually catch up just before lunch, so that you scream your lungs out and you can get as much food as you want. And it's up to the next speaker post-lunch to make sure the energy levels are still high. Okay, that will be a challenge for the next speaker. So, deal? Yes. Yeah? Okay, wonderful. So what do you see up on this slide? Do you see something which is upside down? Yeah? You have to look like this. Okay? We heard about predictability. We heard about, and I said, woo-ka, right? When I said, because that's how it is. Right? That's how it is. It's unpredictable. There's an acronym and, various ways that you can say that. The most important thing is, I have seen quite a few turbulent times. I don't know about whether I was a leader or I am a leader or not, okay? I won't pride myself with that, but I learned one thing, that if you always do what you've always done, you always get what you've always got. If you always do what you've always done, you always get what you've always got. So I tried Shirshasana. And when I tried Shirshasana, the world was upside down and it was turbulent. Right? So the one lesson that is very important is to change perspectives and be ready to deal with situations which have no textbook solutions. You will read a lot of stuff, okay, and that's what I said about theory and reality. You'll read a lot of stuff in books, but it's only experience that will tell you how to deal with in these times. No textbook solutions that are offered, right? So I want to, and as Nainan talked about his experience, I said I started with a lot of turbulence. So I started my career way back in 1996. What I will call as turbulence is rejection. And as Mr. Radhakrishnan was saying, I was looking at Facebook when he was speaking. I looked at a quote. Which says, rejection is not about that you don't know enough. Rejection is about the other person hasn't found out what you know about. Does that make you feel better? Okay. So he also talked about women and feminism and why it's important for women to be in the workforce. The first job that I wanted was to be on the shop floor with this company, which was a Shell Nosil joint venture. First day, first company, highest paying job at Citibank. I said no to, because I had this thing saying I want to go and work on the shop floor. I want to go and roll up my sleeves and deal with workmen, etc., etc. They interviewed me, Shell interviewed me, and said at the end of the day, and you have this concept of dream company. Do you have a concept of dream company? Yeah? Yes? Okay. So when I said no to one, okay, I didn't have another yes or no power. Okay, so they said, everything is great. You're a topper, you've got good grades, etc., etc. But we don't hire women on the shop floor. Okay, so here I was with all the accolades, all the grades, whatever, but I was rejected. So I didn't know about this quote that I just told you. Rejection is not that you're not good enough, okay, but I was depressed. I said, I did my best. I turned down an offer with Citibank, and here I am, without a job. And everybody, there's a lot of peer pressure in class, right? Which company, okay, what CTC, so on and so forth, etc., etc., right? You face that all the time? Yeah? So everybody said, you're crazy, what are you going to do? You don't have a job. Something in me said, I think they will take a chance with me. And Mr. Jayakumar said in the morning, it's about risk taking. Okay, I'm telling you about the turbulence. So turbulence is okay. I mean, everything was great, but then it was down to nothing. It didn't mean anything. So in the evening, they said, nice meeting you, Aparna. Great, all the very best. Okay, and see you sometime. That's the Senior VP Human Resources. I can tell you, I had nightmares all that night because I didn't know what I was going to do, right? And there was this peer pressure, people all the time telling you, you made a mistake, you should have just accepted whatever, whatever. Next day, they came back to campus. And they said, we grilled you so much in the interview. I think you stood by what you believed in. You have conviction. Okay, we take a chance with you. Okay, they said we take a chance with you. And here I was, the first lady on the shop floor, wearing a jumper suit, walking on the naphtha pipeline, along the naphtha pipeline. Started with rejection. Okay, it's about what you make out of those turbulent times. All right, now this is a little something to tell you about, that you can start from anywhere and get to whatever and wherever you want to be. All right, in this context, and hopefully you will take turbulence, rejection, whatever. I mean, turbulence is in the form of rejection as far as, my career started, okay? But there was no stopping after that. So turbulent times could mean all of these natural disasters. We saw the disaster in Kathmandu, Nepal recently, changing policies, newer innovations, volatile markets, insecurity. Okay, I have kept away from politics deliberately because that is the easiest one for anybody who wants to offer free advice, right? That is our birthright and we constantly do that. I'd refrain. A lot of respect for what people do or don't do and they have reasons. So this morning you must have read about the attacks in Paris, right? Turbulent times, right? That is the political crisis that is a lot to do with whatever is going on in the world at large. How leadership and how we will tackle that crisis, they're saying it's an attack on humanity, etc., etc. Again, I will not get into that, but that's a reminder saying crisis also creates leaders. Okay, you don't always have to have all things being equal kind of a situation. Okay, and I'd go on to say that everyone sitting in this room is actually a leader. Each one here is a rock star. Yeah, I can see so many faces smiling. I don't know whether you like rock music or not, but I'm just saying each one of you is a leader. Whatever you choose to do, you are doing your best in that area. It doesn't make any of us any different from you. Right? I think that point and that conviction and that confidence has to come from your gut. I'm doing the best I can in this given situation and I'm a leader in myself. Okay? So coming back to, okay, I'm not going to go into theory, but again, my experience of leadership in turbulent times is communication. Somebody asked a question in communication. Communicate with mind-numbing consistency. Somebody talked about strategy. So having a strategy is great. And one of the, I would say, lacunas in B schools is the word strategy is abused no end. Everybody wants to become a CEO in 5 years and do strategy from the second year. I can tell you that 20 years of experience, in my last assignment, country head human resources of a company headquartered in Paris, I probably did only 30% strategy. 70% execution of the strategy. That is what is the test of leadership in normal times and turbulent times. Okay, so very important to communicate. Be honest and forthright. Okay, call spade a spade. If jobs are going to go, if there is any cause for concern, it is important to display conviction by the leader and be honest and forthright. Entrepreneurial thinking, you talked about social entrepreneurship. Very, very important to think about disruptive innovation, to think about different ways of tackling the situation. Reflect before reacting. Okay, we are so busy, we are doers, we are so action oriented, okay, especially this generation. Okay, he was talking about Facebook. Okay, I don't know how many of you are on Facebook, Twitter right now. My first question this morning to Dr. Nair was, is there a Twitter handle for this seminar? Okay, because then I can tweet about what's going on. So action oriented, we forget to pause, to reflect on, where are we going? And mindful action is very important. It's just thoughtlessly sort of, doing things for the sake of it. Creativity and innovation, I talked about that. So I'm not going to go into details of, how to communicate, but a leader knows how to create forums wherein communication is not one way. I think the speakers before talked about listening. active listening is very important, as you are displaying it right now, because you promised me. You remember the deal? Physically present and mentally present too. I can't hear ones at the back. Right, are you there? Yeah, great, all right. So, communication is not about one way, right? You got to have a dialogue, okay? There has to be exchange, and you've got to be in it with me. So, different forms of communication. Honesty is always in fashion. Okay, so being honest, calling spade a spade, okay, people at least know they can trust you. Leadership in turbulent times, in my experience, is about authenticity. Not only in turbulent times, but it's also at all times it's about authenticity. Do you have an authentic intent to take the organization forward, to grow the top line and the bottom line? Are you interested in developing people? Are you interested in the well-being of your people? Or is it just lip service that people management is a great jargon and that is something that should be actually followed? Okay, so that actually makes people popular, right? So it is very, very important to have courage of conviction and have authentic intent. I think that is one of the characteristics of a credible leader. Okay, I'm saying this, you know, crossing my heart and saying I've experienced this several times. Tell you a real life example. I was posted in the Philippines on my way to the US for a developmental assignment with a company that I worked for called Monsanto, which is a biotech giant. You must hear this one, okay? I don't share it a lot of times, but I think it's very relevant to the topic. So I was supposed to be on a 3-month assignment to sort out some mess in the Philippines. I was sent to Manila in the most hostile of situations to be in. Firstly, I was a lady expat, okay, a single lady expat, difficult, who didn't know the language, of course, which is Tagalog, which I speak very well now. The second thing is I was Indian, so they don't like Indians. They don't like Indians, okay. They blame Mahatma Gandhi for having the Philippines included in the third world country list. So anything to do with India and Indians, they're very American. So they like to associate, because they were a Spanish colony earlier. So they like to associate with America. You have the Taco Bells, you have the Starbucks. I'm talking about 10 years ago. You had the works. Okay, and it was a dream of every Filipino lady to marry a foreigner. Okay, so the actually penchant for white skin. So Indians are supposed to be dark skin, no? So, you know, not the done thing. Single lady, so please mark, single lady, expat, Indian. Deadly combination. If they had their way, they would have thrown me out. Okay, saying, you got no place here. So the first day I went to office, I said there was a mess. There was a huge scandal that the HR head, local HR head had done, and she was fired in the US for that, which is against the law of the Philippines, because of which there were criminal cases against all senior officials. So it was, you know, quite complicated. The entire team resigned. Okay, saying single Indian lady expat, we don't want to work with you. So they all resigned, and I was given 3 months to sort out the mess. So there were court cases and so on and so forth, and the language being a barrier. Okay, going back, I have the best of friends today in the Philippines. That's actually second home for me. I speak the language. I learned the language in 3 months. So Tagalog is the local language, and Taglish is the upper branch version, or the changed version of it, Taglish. So I learned the language pretty quickly. Again, helped in breaking the ice, and turned around We turned around the company, and I didn't say I, but we turned around the business situation in the country in 2.5 years. So my stint, instead of 3 months, ended up being 3 years, and we changed the situation. Today, it's one of the most profitable businesses for that country, that company in that country. And how did we do it? Leadership in turbulent times. So when everything seems to be going against you, imagine what a deadly combination. Head of HR, Indian. Salesperson, of course, was a local Filipino. We had a Pakistani national who was the head of marketing, and a finance head who was an Australian, who was always bowling in the office. He was so obsessed with cricket, that he'd come bowling into a meeting room. And, he was a very interesting, he's one of my best friends even today. Combination of 4 people running the country business and changing the situation. I'm sharing this with you because this is real life. Okay, the choice was when things were not right and things seemed hostile, one could say, well, you've posted me here for 3 months. Okay, time is up. I better go to the US for my developmental assignment. I will walk the corporate headquarters corridors in St. Louis, okay, and hobnob with the who's who, okay, in the corporate headquarters. Instead, I chose, and I think there's a lesson here. I'm not saying choose only the difficult path, but if you have to make a choice, all right, see and do what's best for you in that situation. I said, I will stick here and try and see and do my best. Okay, so I would say the best lessons, and for that assignment and doing whatever turnaround that we did in the business, okay, the only HR person to have received the PCA award, which is called the Passion, Courage and Ability Award in the company globally, the only person to have received that award in Monsanto back then. Right? So I think hard work, sticking your neck out, staying in there, and demonstrating leadership actually pays in the long run. Yeah, so like I said, if I could do it, you could do it better than me. Yes? Yes? So it's all about testing our assumptions, testing our limiting beliefs, testing our own barriers and overcoming those. So energy, very important for a leader at all times to be energetic, being mentally, physically, emotionally grounded and centered. Whatever it takes, exercise, yoga, meditation, wholeness workshop, whatever it takes, energy at all points in time. So energy, very important for a leader, for each one of you, even in college. The second one is engagement. What you're displaying and demonstrating right now is you are engaging with me. You are with me in what is being talked about. That shows a lot of respect that you are actually giving me. Okay? And vice versa. Very important in all walks of life. When your parents talk to you, you listen to them, right? When your boss talks to you, you listen to him. You don't say, hang on, I'm doing something more important. You don't do that, right? Parents, elders, whatever. So it doesn't matter. Anybody who's spending time with you, investing with, time with you, engage. Leaders have to engage at all levels in the organization, not only with top management. For you, peers are very important. When you are in the corporate or anywhere, okay, you have to ensure that you take people along. That is one of the lessons of democracy. Yeah, we seem to have forgotten somewhere. So, second one is, what is the first one? Energy. No, that was not energetic enough. Energy. Very good. Okay, the second one, engagement. And the third one is empathy. What is the third one? Empathy. So I am empathetic to the fact that it is close to lunchtime. I'm empathetic to the fact that it's close to lunchtime and you've had a long day since 8:30 a.m. You came in buses, so you started even much earlier, right? So I'm empathetic to the fact that it's time for lunch, yeah? This is empathy in this room, but a leader has to have empathy for people in the organization. Okay, organization is made up of, he talked about free minds and free heart. It's not only about knowledge, skills and attitude, it's not about KSA. Okay, it's about the hardware and the software. And I think that is what is taught to you or in the Management Institute. Try to make you a full professional. Okay, and the fact that people who are more successful than others, I wouldn't say, I don't think there is any success and failure. People who are more successful than others display all these 3 E's in equal measure. And that is true of anybody, either in a job, in a management institute, in politics, could be the president, could be anybody, anywhere. This rule applies. All right? So, you know, you have the other things, okay? One more thing which is important is don't take yourself so seriously. Have you heard that? Nobody else does. Don't take yourselves too seriously because nobody else does. Okay? Everybody is worried about themselves and not thinking about what you are thinking about them. Right? Have you heard that? Yes. No? Yes? Yes? Okay, so its sense of humor is very important for a leader. Otherwise, you could have a long face because you are just, you know, just shouldering so many problems. You are just burdened with so many problems. Sense of humor is very important. So keep that funny bone in there, wherever it is, okay, all the time. It's important to breathe and smile. It's important to breathe and smile and to share a laugh. Right? I can see people smiling in spite of the fact that it's lunchtime. Right? So, these are fundamentals of leadership. This is not rocket science. You all know it. I just shared some experiences. The final fusion bit. Do you want to know what the fusion bit is? Yeah? No? That was not loud enough? Okay, wonderful. So, the 3 E's is not in my book, but the 3 C mantra is in my book. Okay, the 3 C's. Okay, 3 C's stands for competence, connect, and care. Okay, very important to share with this august audience. Competence is the bedrock for any confidence, conviction, or whatever. There is no shortcut to success. You got to know your stuff well. So, competence helps you ensure that you take care of the basics. So, be under no illusion or hurry. There is a difference between style and substance. Style fades away with time. Looks go away with time. Substance is what makes you stay. All the people that you've heard here since morning, stand tall, and all your professors and seniors stand tall on competence, their knowledge, their experience. Okay, there's no taking away from that. So that is very, very important. Please get that straight. Competence is very, very important. The second one is connect. Okay, we are connected. Are we connected? Yes? Are we engaged? Yes. Okay. Similarly, important for a leader at all times to be connected in the organization. To know the pulse of the people. Not sit on, you know, in the corner office or in a glass ivory tower and then dish out whatever you want, targets, and say, go do it. Okay, so connect. So all those who are looking that side have to look this side. Okay, I can see a few people signaling from that side. So you're not engaged right now. So I'm trying to connect with you. Okay, so staying connected at all times is very, very important. That helps the soul of the organization, the culture of the organization. And care is equally important. When there is authentic leadership, it's about care. I care about you not because, you know, it's just part of my job, but I care about you as a person, about your family. I care about what you do, how you grow in the system. Authentic intent leads to care. So competence, connect, and care have to be in equal measure. If you only have any of the two, okay, if you have connect and care, oh, I'm a very nice person, you know, I keep smiling all the time, and you know, all of that, and puss on competence. That is populism. I'm very popular with people, right? Doesn't take you too far. So an equal measure of competence, connect, and care is the fusion that I said is important, which is part of my real experience in my career, as well as leadership in turbulent times. For you, wherever you are, whether there is turbulence or not, or wherever you are, please remember, easy to recall, 3 E's and 3 C's. Thank you so much for a patient listening and displaying all the 3 E's simultaneously. So a big round of applause for all of you.